up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen. Get yourself comfy, this could take a while, what a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Values Assembly. Let's kick this off with our values as always. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, and together we will. And our everyday focuses are, and our Stukeley motto is, and our Stukeley curriculum is, and last of all, 4 words that make the magic happen. Excellent. Okay, so good morning. Well, I say good morning, but those of you with eagle eyes might have looked at the window but over my shoulder here and seen that it's dark outside. It's not morning when I'm filming this. And you might also have noticed that I'm not in the meeting room where I normally film it. I'm actually at Stephen's HQ, and the reason being I wanted one of these in the background, and you might well have noticed that I'm sporting my lovely Christmas jumper. I'm going to give you another clue about the theme of my assembly, as if my outfit and this wasn't clue enough, and the fact that today's the 1st of December. So here's a clue. First letter clue. Second letter clue coming. We've had an A, we've had a D, we've had a V and an E and an N and a T. Those letters together spell, well, I'll give you another clue. Those letters spell Advent, and here in my hands is not my own, but someone in my family's Advent calendar. It's a Percy Pig one. And those of you, and I expect lots of you do, have one of those at home. Those of you that do will have opened window number 1 this morning, I am sure, because today is the first day of December and we've got Advent calendars. But the theme of my assembly is about Advent. What exactly is Advent? We're lucky enough to have these calendars, but what does Advent mean? What is the purpose of an Advent calendar? Well, Advent is a Latin word, so it's an ancient word, a Latin word meaning the coming. So I wonder who, the coming of who? Some of you might know the answer to that, and you can tell your teacher by all means. Advent is a period of time in the Christian church traditionally, when we're talking about Advent, that begins 4 Sundays before Christmas. Now, I have one of these, well, a picture of one to show you. It's an Advent wreath, and these will be seen in churches from those 4 Sundays. So the first of those 4 Sundays before Christmas. And what will happen is that one candle will be lit each week. And so 1 candle the first week, and the first candle represents hope. In the second week of Advent, on the Sunday, both candles will be lit, and that second candle symbolises love. And on the third Sunday of Advent in the church, they will light 1, 2, 3 candles, and that third candle represents joy. And on the fourth Sunday of Advent, the 1, 2, 3, 4 candles will be lit, and that fourth candle represents peace. And then finally, on Christmas Day, this middle candle will be lit, and it reminds Christians that Jesus is the light of the world. Now, you might have noticed that lots of those candles are a purple colour. Now, purple is a really important colour in churches at Christmas time, because purple, back 2,000 odd years ago when Jesus was born, was a colour that represented kings and royalty. So purple is a really important colour. So you see lots of purple around the church. Now, Advent calendars themselves, my Percy Pig one, don't forget, they actually originated, so they first began or were first seen in Germany in the 1800s. So we're talking over 200 years ago. And what would happen is that Christian families would hang little pictures on their wall of various sort of scenes from the Christmas story. And they would add another picture each day onto the wall until Christmas Day. So that period of Advent then began to be marked by pictures. And when I was a little girl, my Advent calendar was a picture one. I would just open it and there would be a little picture, probably something from the Christmas story behind each picture or behind each window. It's only in fairly recent years that behind the window, you're lucky enough to get chocolate. Didn't get that when I was a little girl. Now, Advent then can look like that in the United Kingdom where we live, and in other parts of the world there will be Advent calendars like that. But there are other traditions which are really interesting that happen in different parts of the world. Now, did you know, for example, that on the 6th of December in Germany, that they call that St. Nicholas's Day? Now, St. Nicholas is, I guess, he's a character that they believe put sweets inside your shoes. That's a bit interesting, isn't it? So if you were a little child in Germany, on the 6th of December, you would have shoes and you would hope that St. Nicholas had come and you would find sweets in your shoes. Hopefully you found the sweets before you put your foot in, because I think it would be a bit uncomfortable, don't you? In Finland, for example, which is another European country, families would have ice or snow lanterns burning in their gardens. They'd have ice lanterns. In Switzerland, or a particular place in Switzerland, they have a special procession, so like a parade. And people wear really big hats, like a bishop's hat or a really big pointy hat. And they would light a candle in honour of St. Nicholas. So they're all over the world, and in particularly in Europe, there are lots of traditions that happen during that Advent period, that period of time between the first Sunday of Advent, which might be around the 1st of December, it might be early November, it just depends, and all the way to Christmas Day, that period of time and waiting. Now, it got me thinking, Advent then, while we're waiting for something to happen, is a time of waiting. I don't know about you, but waiting isn't always very much fun. I wonder if you have ever had to wait a long time for something. Now, teachers, by all means, if you want to talk about that with your class right now, then you can put me on pause. I was thinking perhaps you might have had to have waited for your pen licence in school, for example. Perhaps you've had to wait to get your own room. I had to wait 15 years. I shared a room with my sister till I was 15. Perhaps you had to wait before your family said you were old enough to walk home from school on your own. Perhaps you've had to wait to go on holiday. You had to wait a long time for that to happen. I think at the moment in this year, lots of people have had to do lots of waiting for things. But I wonder how you felt during that time. I expect sometimes you feel excited, so it's really exciting because you've got something you're looking forward to. Sometimes you feel a bit bored because it feels such a long time that you're having to wait. Sometimes you might even feel a bit impatient and frustrated. Why can't it just happen now? All of those feelings we all experience when we're having to wait for something, especially if we're having to wait a long time. I wonder what was challenging about that wait, as well as having to feel all those different feelings. I wonder what else might be challenging about waiting. Again, as a class, you can talk about these things. Teachers can put me on pause. But sometimes it's hard to keep thinking about what it is you're waiting for, isn't it? And keeping hopeful about thinking, yes, I'm really looking forward to when I can open all my presents, perhaps on Christmas Day, if you're lucky enough to have some. And you might keep hoping, thinking, well, I am going to get them, aren't I? I really hope that I do. And sometimes you have to keep believing and keep hoping for that thing, and that can be tricky. I find that if I'm having to wait for something that I'm really struggling to wait for, that I have to take my mind off of it. I have to go and do other things, think about other things, and then it takes my mind off of it a bit. Because I find when you're waiting for things, time goes really slowly. And that might be something you could talk about and share those ideas with your friend. This waiting for something, we call that being patient. That was why that song was playing at the start of this assembly, because actually Advent is about patience, about waiting patiently for something. Now, being patient is when you can put up with having to kind of put up with delays, when things don't happen straight away, when you'll know something's going to happen, but it's not happening right now and you have to wait for it. It's about pushing up with that delay, but without getting all cross and annoyed and anxious about it. It's about being calm in that time. That can be really tricky, and maybe as a class you can share what you think about that. I wonder if you're good at being patient. I wonder if you're having to be patient about something in particular at the moment. Another meaning, though, of the word patient is being able to be calm when someone or something is really difficult or even possibly annoying. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations that are just really annoying, and it makes us feel quite cross and it makes us feel quite stressed out sometimes. I wonder if you've ever had to be patient in that way. I expect those of you that have got a younger brother or maybe a younger sister, or maybe even older brothers and older sisters, have had to be patient because they don't mean to, particularly if they're younger. Sometimes they can be really annoying without meaning to, can't they? Maybe that you've built something beautiful with your Lego and they've come and knocked it over just because they were being little children, and little children do things like that. So I wonder then if you've ever had to be really patient in a situation, but you've had to be calm. Can't just get cross, can you? Being patient is about being calm even when things are difficult or annoying or challenging in any way. That made me think about this. Just wonder what the world would be like. Just imagine what the world would be like if everybody in the world managed to be patient in difficult situations, or when they were having to put up with really annoying people or really annoying things. Just imagine what the world would be like if everyone was patient. It would be calm. It would be altogether nicer and so much happier because nobody would be getting cross with each other. People would be helping each other instead of getting cross and frustrated. They would be showing each other kindness. Wow, what a world that would be. Do you know, though, that you and I could help to make that kind of a world? We could help out in our own little bit of the world. Maybe in our family, that's our little bit of the world. Maybe at our school, a slightly bigger bit of the world. Maybe in the area where we live, a little bit bigger again. But maybe if we could just be patient with one another and show kindness to one another instead of being a bit cross or a bit irritated or a bit frustrated. I know it's a challenge, but just maybe we could make our little bit of the world better. Even though it's a challenge, I think we can all do it because at Stukeley, we love a challenge. So our Stukeley challenge today is let's be kind, let's be calm, let's be patient with one another, because patience and Advent, that period of waiting for the celebration of Christmas, really go hand in hand. There's a challenge, everybody. Have a good week. See you next time.
Hello everybody, Mrs. Stevens has asked me to read you a poem, so I've chosen a wintry poem for you. It's one of my favourite wintry poems, so I'm going to read it to you now. It's called The Snowball and it's by Shel Silverstein, and it goes like this. I made myself a snowball as perfect as can be. I thought I'd keep it as a pet and let it sleep with me. I made it some pyjamas and a pillow for its head, and then last night it ran away. But first, it wet the bed. I hope you like that poem. There's going to be a few more poems over the next few weeks, so I hope you enjoy those too. Take care, bye-bye.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevens and Mr. Watley. We're now straight into shout-outs. First of all, birthday shout-outs. You know how it works. Happy birthday to Patrick in Year 6 and Lewis in foundation stage. Happy birthday, boys. I'm hoping it's a great day for you all around. Straight into learning log announcement. I did say that last week I would be checking every child and every learning log from foundation stage all the way up to Year 6. Now, I wasn't able to look at them all individually. I've got the teachers to help me, but I can reveal that in one class, every single child brought in their learning log. Every single child was in school that day, in that class, and most importantly, every single child had written 5 sentences in their learning log, and none of them had done it in school. They'd all done it at home. Here's the proof. And we know what that means. It means that Chestnut class win the prize. I'll tell you what the prize is. This is great. The whole class get to do the who in the next Who Will Be Triumphant. We're going to have the whole class in there. Incredible. Even more incredible, one of that class was actually a part of it in another competition as well. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. Anyway, well done, Chestnut. Super job. Look forward to getting that filming done soon. Okay. Times tables, rock stars, I hear you cry, and numbots.
Who's been doing lots of maths? Jam is stored in jars. Who's been calculating lots on numbots and TT Rockstars? Who's been doing lots of maths? Jam is stored in jars. Who's been calculating lots on numbots and TT Rockstars?
Okay, here we go, everyone. You know how excited I am by this. Let's see how Foundation Stage got on last week with their numbots. Well, I'll tell you how they got on. Juniper got 21,154 points. Rowan got 21,051 points. It was so close, but Juniper get it in the numbots battle. Well done, Juniper. Cherry versus Magnolia. Is there a shock on the cards? Cherry class 50,798. Magnolia class 60,326. What a victory for Magnolia. Going into year 2, Pine versus Maple. I know it's difficult for Maple. I hope they're giving it everything. How do we get on this week? Maple 10,097. Pine 30,223. There is no stopping them. Or is there? Right, into year 3, a very, very interesting week. We had Willow class remote learning for the whole week. It gave them a really big chance to try and get level or even in the lead. Willow class 44,433. Lime class 47,468. When Mrs. Campbell had a look at this, just before the 9 o'clock finish, there was only about 100 points in it. That is a brilliant score from Willow. They've closed the gap by thousands, but Lime just got them in the end. One day, Willow, you will be triumphant, just like Maple. And then it's a whole new show. Year 4, Acacia versus Birch. Birch, 13,898. Acacia, 18,191. They take it again. Chestnut versus Beech. Oh, it's been getting a bit tricky amongst the teachers. Beech, 12,752. Chestnut, 28,231. Just so you know, Christian, Ava and Farrell, they win it every time for Chestnut. Without those 3, much closer. Come on, Beech, where are you stepping up? And finally, year 6, another incredible battle. Sycamore 87,532, Oak 96,498. That was incredibly close. And then all of a sudden, well done, rock stars and numbotters. Especially well done to all of these children who've moved up a level and got a certificate. And definitely Matthew in year 6 and Sowler in year 4. They're both rock heroes. That means they can answer any times table in less than a second per answer on average. That is incredible, and they all deserve massive Stukeley well done round of applause for that. Let me just quickly check my list because there's lots going on. We've done rock stars, we've done birthdays, we've done the winner of the Learning Log competition. Oakleaf Bookshop should be on today. I've moved it to tomorrow. Sorry, I've moved it to tomorrow instead. It will happen this week. I think it's time for that festive bit in assembly. Hello everyone, welcome to the festive bit in assembly. First of all, I'm now going to show you our very first Stukeley Advent window. I'm going to show you a photo of the window. There will be a letter in that window. You need to write that letter in box number 1, in the first box on your Advent card. You can do that in school right now if your teachers let you. After today, the window will be hidden somewhere in assembly. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. You're going to have to find that window, you're going to have to find the letter and write it in. So here is your very first, very easy Stukeley Advent window. Okay, we're up and running with Advent windows. Every single day, I'm also going to share Christmas messages. Let's see who our very first ones are from. Oh, first of all, love this. This one is for the whole school. I hope you all have a good Christmas day, from Molly B in Year 2. Thank you, Molly. We'll get that on the board. Another one. This one's to Immy from Tashina in Year 5. Wishing you the merriest Christmas and all the best luck for the year. Thank you, Tashina, lovely message. And then we've got, this one is to Angelina from Stukeley in Year 2, and it's a happy Christmas message. Right, they're the first ones. I'll do a few every day. If I don't do yours immediately, as soon as you've sent it in, be patient, it will come. Let's get some more in, let's get this board filled up. Right, just before we move on, and I have to say, I've got a story which has made me feel a bit sad. Happy sad, but still a bit sad. When I first started teaching, and this is, crikey, about 18 years ago, when I first became a teacher, I worked in a Year 1 class. And I still remember that class. In fact, I'm still in touch with one of the families and their son who was in that class. Cameron, his name was, and I still send letters and emails and messages to his family, and they still send them back, which is great. Anyway, in my first Year 1 class, my mum bought me an Advent chimney. She bought it for me from one of those magazines that used to get through the door. Adults will know what I'm talking about. A little magazine, like a bit like the Avon, but with loads of other stuff in it. And she bought me this little Advent chimney and said, you can use it in your class with your Year 1 children. This was nearly 20 years ago. I've still got the Advent chimney and I still get it out every year. Here it is. Oh, hang on a sec, I've just dropped it. That was like an Antiques Roadshow nightmare. I did genuinely drop some of it. I've had to fix it. I've had to fix it. And the thing is, I was going to say that over the last few years, it's actually got a little bit broken, but I've managed to save it and I've just done it again. Anyway, my mum brought this for me years and years ago. I've got it out every single year with my class or in my office. Some of you might have seen it. It's a little Advent chimney. It's got Santa on the top, and you can see, look, where his hat has actually started to break a little bit. Can you see that little break there? He's still survived. I've just broken the number 6, but I've taped it together so it's fine. Anyway, every day, oh man, this is a bad idea. Every day I'm going to take out an Advent stick, and as I do that, Santa falls down the chimney until he gets to the bottom. So today it's the first. So I'm going to slowly remove number 1, put it at the back. Goes at the back, look, back of the chimney. I'm going to do this every day, and we're going to watch the big red guy drop down. Okay, I think that's nearly the end. I tell you what, get your messages in. Look out for the Advent windows every day, and make sure that I'm not complete rogue with this chimney. most important 60 seconds.
The most important 60 seconds are coming up now. The most important 60 seconds are coming up now.
Okay, I think our transitioning around school, I think our movement around the school, I think our behaviour when we walk around school was much, much better yesterday. I've asked all adults in school to be super focused and concentrate massively on getting all children to walk quietly and sensibly from one place to another. It definitely makes the whole of the school day work better. So thank you to every child that didn't need to be taught that again. Thank you to every child that did need a reminder and has listened. There will be consequences where children don't listen to our instructions and choose to be disruptive and make noise when they don't need to. So thank you to every Stukeley child that's using their values, working hard and being kind. Don't forget Christmas messages. Look out for the Advent windows. See you tomorrow.